It's your land now? It is. It's to be ours. I'm not the one that took it from you. No matter.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Ruka Kodash. Double honors unto our apostle elders that rule great millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abab abal. So this is a video that came across my screen a couple times. And as you can see, it's a Gadite, a North American Indian, which is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Israelites being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. All right. And as you can see, he comes and says, hey, this was my land. This Edomite, the so-called Caucasian, which they call themselves white, which they are not. They are red. But it says, I'm not the one that took it. But that's very hypocritical because in this society, right, they have laws against accepting stolen goods even if you paid for it. All right, if you paid for stolen goods, you still could get charged for buying it and having it in your possession. But when the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, which are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites that have been scattered throughout the world in slavery, all right, when we talk about the injustice that happens to us, it gets swept under the rug. Oh, that wasn't me. That was my forefathers. But you're still sucking the tit off of our suffering. You're still sucking the pus out of our wounds. Your nourishment comes from us suffering from our broken homes, from us suffering trying to make ends meet. We're enslaved, subject to debt under the so-called white man, which we were rich. We had golden cities. We had a whole civilization before this dirty ass cracker came around and infected with invading. Right? He infected our people with invading us and conquering us. But the thing was, the Israelites were committing sin. All right? They were still keeping the false idols of Egypt and Babylon, which the northern kingdom, they went into the Babylonian captivity when the southern kingdom went under the Assyrian Babylonian captivity. But after the northern kingdom came out and they came to what you know as America on Assyrian ships, all right, and they know that. Esau knows that. That's why he puts it on an Assyrian ship, right, which looks, they tell you it's a Viking ship in Elitch Gardens, Colorado, all right, and that kind of ship is what the Israelites, the northern kingdom, came over to America from, all right, and then when the so-called Caucasian stole our land and killed us and raped us and murdered us, right, he went over to West Africa, which the Israelites, the southern kingdom Israelites, the so-called Negroes, were over there running from this red devil because of the Romans coming in 70 AD, destroying Jerusalem, right? So you still had the three tribes in Jerusalem up to 70 AD, and then in 70 AD, the so-called white man, Roman, right? They called themselves Romans at that time. All right, he went in there and destroyed Jerusalem, which you have the Arch of Titus that is still a memorial to their destroying the temple and sacking the goods. All right, so the Israelites of the southern kingdom ran into Africa, into West Africa, and that's why they were found there on slave ships. The so-called Caucasian put them on slave ships, rounding them up, and to bring them over to America, which was stolen land, drenched in the blood of the northern kingdom, and they brought them over to slave and to die here for the pleasures of the so-called white race, right? And these red devils, they want to find themselves innocent. It says that they do this, that they don't think that they're guilty of nothing, all right? But they have how to pay.
Oh, it is. It's to be ours. I'm not the one that took it from you. Doesn't matter. Still got took. You're trying to take it back. You'd ask a favor. Ask. My father was...
See? So he was upset that this Native American Indian was on that land, which was his originally, and this dude bought stolen goods, right? Even if he paid for it. See right here, it says they're saying charleslaw.com, CRS 18-4-404, which is heavy because the 8 is just 2 4s, so it's 1444444. It says theft by receiving stolen property. It says you are innocent if you receive property without knowing it has been stolen. But these so-called Caucasians, they celebrate them stealing our land, Thanksgiving, which is coming up. And every year, they put it in our face that they stole the land from us. And then the next day after, you have Black Friday, which they had slaves that were sold on that day. All right, which were Israelites. They slaughtered the Israelites on Thanksgiving Thursday, and then they sold slaves that they rounded up, and they bartered and traded slaves on Friday after they slaughtered families on Thursday. All right, this is the history of the so-called white race. But they want to act like they're innocent. All right, so this is Zechariah 11:5. Whose oppressors, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. That wasn't me, right? But it was your forefathers, and you knew of it, right? But you did nothing but accept what they stole and gave it down through as an inheritance, right? But they want to say that we're the wrong ones for saying anything, right? But they're completely guilty of knowing of murder, theft, right? And they're living on stolen goods, stolen land, stolen names, stolen culture. They're stealing the children still. You got human trafficking going on of the Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom in America, which they push it throughout the whole world. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, which a lot of these fuckers are so-called Christians, which they worship in that satanic church, which they claim that the Messiah is a white man named Jesus Christ, which is a goddamn lie, right? But you're going to find out. You're going to find out the hard way, because the Lord's going to destroy, all right, all these devils, the so-called Caucasians and the heathens, and these 2/3 reprobate Israelites that are in love with these heathen. He's going to burn them in fire here in America. He's going to turn America into a lake of fire using nuclear missiles, all right? That's why it's no accident, but a coincidence. Look the word up. Coincidence. Look it up. It's not an accident, but it is a coincidence. Coincidence is that the flesh is coinciding with the scriptures. It's a reaction from the spirit into the flesh. All right? It is a coincidence. It is not by accident. All right? And it says, for I am rich. The rich are doing this. All right? And their own shepherds pity them not. But you got these false prophets like IUIC, ISUPK, right? You got these false prophets that are set up in the colleges. Like you got that one that just came out that Apostle Tar was getting on. I can't remember the group, the name of the guy. But, you got all these false prophets popping out because they're trying to cover up that the prophecies are taking place. All right? The shepherds are not showing any pity to the flock. But the hopeful elect, we are sighing and crying and prophesying and feeding the flock of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua with fruit, meat for repentance. All right? Now, when it says, for I am rich, I'm going to show you.
Okay? And there have been, white papers written in the past about using just this methodology to get, everybody behind the globalist agenda, right? Operation, Warp Speed was part of that,
Educational purpose.
Then does Trump bear some responsibility for giving
He definitely
factual
bears responsibility. My question is, Does he really know what's going on, or has he surrounded himself with people that are misleading him about what's going on? I would like to believe that Donald Trump has been misled.
So what's the end game here? I mean, if America...
The end game is world domination. They're going global. That's what it's all about.
Now, there's nothing new to the idea that Satan or Lucifer or...
All right, and so the so-called white race, the wicked that rule the world, right? They want global domination using the implantable microchip and depopulation. All right, and that's what he's explaining. All right, before you had private slave owners, and then it went to corporate slave owners like Walmart, Target, King Soopers, right? Sam's Club. And now they want to go to global, where it's a very small number of Edomites that rule the entire world. All right. And that's why they're buying it up. They're collapsing the system through devaluing the dollar. All right. And that's to buy everything up and to put everyone on a microchip. All right. And to use the fear of depopulation to motivate you to take that device as thinking it's going to give you life, but in fact, it's going to condemn you to that lake of fire, that nuclear destruction.
Call him just the old devil himself, is the prince of this world, and that the rich and the powerful they do his bidding, and they're bad.
Which there is angels that are created to do evil, right? But they do it through men. They use men. They're a spirit that comes upon a man and he does evil. This life is like a foosball game, and it's spirits that are controlling, the game. You got spirits on the right hand and spirits on the left hand, but both sides go back to Yahweh, the supreme being, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israelites, and he gave us his son, Yahweh Shai, which was the sacrifice for the wages of our sin. So if he gave us his son to cover the wage of our sin, he's going to deliver us and give us these heathen to pay them back for what we've had to suffer. Yahweh Shai paid for this in his blood. And this is why these devils are scrambling. They're scrambling, all right, because their turn is up next to go into slavery.
Add people, and they follow their lowest appetites and their pleasures, and they can be sadistic. And so that's been going on for a long time. Is there something particular about the moment we're living in that says it's actually gotten much worse?
Yes, that is. We've had so many technological advancements that now the technology of surveillance and coercion are such, and these people are so rich, they're like black holes gravitating all the money to themselves, that they're unstoppable, okay? And because they're unstoppable, because they actually run everything, okay, we are endangered by them now.
It sounds to me like you're saying we don't live in Schoolhouse Rock on the bill up on Capitol Hill. We're not living in the republic that a lot of us say that we're living in.
That's correct. Basically, the world is globalistic now. It's run by globalists. That's their goal. I mean, that's what global means. We're going global.
Yeah. It's oligarchic.
Huh?
And it would therefore be oligarchic.
That's absolutely correct. Oligarchic, because very few of them actually exist.
And what it is, it's one family. That family is the Edomites, the so-called white race. All right, the Edomite race. They are the devil, the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right. So once again, I'll put this link in the description box, and you can watch the whole video for yourself. I use this for educational purposes. All right. Shalom to the elect. Wa abba.